Hi guys, how are you? So nice to connect to you. Welcome to this video and welcome to my channel. My name is Laura, this is Pleiadian Healer from PleiadianHealer.com. And welcome to our new series, reviewing New Agers, truthers, or other people and beings who are misleading people through the untruths and lies and channelings or whatever exactly they're doing. So I decided we're going to start with people who I actually had a session with or took their courses. And I did post a list asking for names of who you want to have reviewed next. So the list is pretty long, and I think we'll be quite occupied over the next few months or so. But I decided it makes most sense for me personally to start with the people that, I actually know in that sense, just because I had interactions with them. So we're going to start today with the renowned Elizabeth April right here. Now, once again, the same with the Dolores Cannon video that I already recorded. I think this is like the second or third try that I'm trying to record this video. The attacks that come through, even when you're not airing the video, but just recording it, are pretty out there. By attacks, I mean psychic attacks, AI attacks. So I just want to put this out there too before we get into reviewing her, or it rather, because I feel her gender at this point is almost pretty fluid. But when putting this type of content out there, which I know me and a handful of other people have been consistently doing over the past few years for sure. But when doing this type of stuff, when doing these type of videos, you're not just doing it without no repercussions. You have a lot of attacks coming your way, which is once again another confirmation that these people are controlled by something else, by other entities who don't want the truth about them coming to light, or who don't even want them criticized, which is pretty concerning. And so when I already started speaking out against her and a few others that I want to review in the near future, I think I had like 2 or 3 videos out already. One was a YouTube live where I was basically saying my experience with her and others. And then a few others, I was talking about the psychic attacks that I was experiencing with her. I think that was last summer or whatever, in a different YouTube live. But basically, whenever I put these type of videos out, the psychic attacks are pretty unreal. Very strong. And if they're not trying to get to me, they're trying to get to, people in my vicinity, or, someone who's close to me, people who I like. So I already know that they don't want this type of video to get out. They don't want these type of reviews, but we are going to speak our truth, stand in our power. And it's very important to share it in instances like this with these type of people. So I want to go ahead, before we actually go into a proper video, let's just look at her YouTube channel here. So when I was looking her up, 156,000 subs, and what struck me the most was 47 videos. So she deleted, it appears, over 800 videos off of her channel, or she deleted a good amount of videos. I don't think she had 800 on her channel, but she probably had like a good 100 or 200 on her channel. And so at this point, it was actually very hard to find a proper video, because I'm scrolling down through all the videos that she has. Some are like 2 years old. There are a few more recent ones, but some of them are just hours and hours long, or like 56 seconds long. So not really something you can really use for a review. And when I look at some videos, like I have this one up, important message to trigger word star seeds in July 2022, like the Starseed program goes very strong with this one. The audio quality was so bad that it really got me wondering, like, these people have over 150,000 followers supposedly on their YouTube, because you don't know how many of those are real or how many of those are bots or whatever. She basically blew up from like 10,000 followers to 100,000 followers within less than a year. I think with only a time span of like 6 months or so. That was back in 2020 or 2021. And I know that once again, because she's actually bragging about it online. She was like, yeah, I never really paid much attention to my YouTube channel, but then once I put the energy in and yada yada, I got my 100,000 subscriber mark thingy, you know, like the plaque that they give you, like that little silver thing or whatever. And it was very interesting because a lot of other new cagers or new age trap artists like Phil Good, Magenta Pixie, and all those people during the same time frame got the same one, the 100,000 subscribers. I always want to say $100,000, so maybe they also got a whole bunch of money for that. Wouldn't be surprised. So you already know, you know, a lot of them are just in the same, yeah, under the same blanket, basically. They're all interacting with each other, and they're all kind of spreading the same lies, the same untruths, but we're going to focus on her just for the sake of this video. So it was very hard to find a proper video. I decided we're going to start with her website instead, and then also go into her Instagram account because she has a few videos on there too, but I will try to dissect a little bit through a video that she has on YouTube. It's just the audio quality is so horrendous that it really makes you wonder, how did these people really blow up? You know, there are people out there who have an amazing microphone, who have an amazing camera, and they maybe have like 50 followers or 100 followers, whatever, even though they post every single week. And yet these people who can't even invest in a proper microphone, it seems, you know, like out of nowhere have that. So we're going to go to her website. The first thing that kind of came up was the GFL bundle 2021, whatever. The Galactic Federation of Light has a message for you. So I don't know what I'm going to title this video, but something according to the Galactic Federation of Light puppet and New Age puppet or something like that, because it's very clear that she's controlled by all of these entities. The Galactic Federation of Light has nothing to do with light. It's the Galactic Federation of evilness or darkness or whatever. I don't even really believe that these federations exist the way they do. Obviously, they need a fancy term to lure people into them and to have them channel their messages through them. But I kind of feel it's a lot with Illuminati, or the controllers, and that's just all these astral entities grouping together and really effing with people and making them believe, oh, it's something fancy like the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, or in her case, the Galactic Federation of Light. So obviously they have to make her believe that what she's doing is very important. So she really, you know, was put into this program with all of that. And then you can buy all of her recordings and bundles. And, you know, it's all about business at this point. We understand that. You go to her story, which Elizabeth April also stands for EA. And I suppose it stands for Expand and Awaken, is what it says there on her website. It's always the same with them, like raising awareness, raising your vibration, raising consciousness, all that. I mean, it's always the same trigger words, right? So in her case, it's expand, awaken, or raising your vibration somehow. I think that was her previous slogan. So also, I've actually been following her since the beginning of 2017, because for the first 1 or 2 years, when I myself was still in that new age community or trap or program, I was very much into her and a few others until I started noticing things aren't really turning out the way that these people are telling you they are. So I know from 2017 on, she's changed immensely. And it's not surprising that she actually deleted a whole bunch of her videos off of her channel, because there were a lot of videos from 2016 and on there somewhere, which in hindsight don't make a whole lot of sense. And obviously you have to delete the evidence. At least that's how I see it. So you go to her about story, very nice, with a whole bunch of, you know, trigger words again, the turning point. And so from childhood on, what kind of struck me here when I saw this picture, this is her in the foreground right here, and I guess her brother in the background. Says in the picture, me and my bro, which, you know, nothing against family. Family is very important, but she legit looks like a boy, right? So some people I know on her previous videos commented that she's a converted boy into a girl, all of that. I don't really care whether or not she is. Like, some people were saying that she has an Adam's apple or whatever in the videos. People can be quite mean online, as we all know. I don't care whether or not that's true, but it really has to do with the gender narrative that she's following too, with her current girlfriend, or well, it's not her girlfriend anymore, it's her wife, but I still think is always her girlfriend, because I think the entire marriage was a visa marriage anyhow. So I'm not really sure if they're married for all the right reasons. But anyhow, that's all private life. She looks like a boy in this picture. So from the start, it seems like she was a bit gender confused when she came in. If indeed she was a girl when she was born, if she wasn't a boy when she was born, and kind of converted to a woman, I mean, that could be another narrative. It doesn't really matter for the purpose of this video. I know there are a whole lot of other people out there who will probably flood me with images of how they think she was gender converted and everything, like they did with the other video I made on Dolores Cannon and everything too. But you have this fancy narrative. All the pictures here, none of them are giving the photographer credit either, which is amazing for these people. You know, they're earning like thousands and thousands of dollars supposedly every month, but then they can't even give credit when credit is due. So that just has to do something with regular courtesy in that industry as well. And we're going to her Instagram, and I haven't checked her Instagram out in a very long time, but the image here that she put in as a profile, the first thought that struck me was, wow, she looks mad. She looks angry. She just doesn't look like an enlightened being that's there to expand, awaken, or raise awareness, raise consciousness, right? The way she says on her website. This image here looks so angry, where I was even like, whoa, okay, crazy how people's energies has really changed from like 2017, 2016 on, because she looked very different back in the days, like five years ago, 6 years ago. So there are a whole bunch of, like this image here, you know, I know it's supposed to give credit to, oh, I'm so raw, I'm showing myself without makeup, with my glasses on, all of that. There's a light stream like right there, you know, focus on the light, like there's light shining over my crown chakra, all of those things, because obviously they all believe in chakras and everything. But it kind of just makes her look a bit miserable. It's not a good marketing technique, in my opinion. And this one here, which we might analyze a little bit on YouTube, she looks extremely angry. Her, like right here, you know, if you just kind of analyze her facial expression, also her smile and her eyes never match up. So it's almost like this fake forced smile too. But that's just a different video. Now let's get to one that I want to play. So there's not a whole lot of substance here on her Instagram. Here's her wife, who looks very manly to me. And that's why I'm saying, you know, both of them, because they're obviously lesbian or gay or whatever. Both of them are very much playing out this inverted role of genders. You know, you're talking about the trans and then the agenda, not to that degree, at least not yet. But it's very clear, because they even had a video recently, which they might delete off of their YouTube again, but they had this video here where they were basically talking about, the title is crypto, but when I was tuning in for a moment or so, they were basically talking about how gender doesn't matter because you were basically both male and female in previous lifetimes. All of that is all part of the gender confusion that they're playing out. You know, very obvious they're gender confused, because she even looked like a boy when she was a kid. So, I mean, I think it goes further than the regular tomboy narrative for sure. So that's just something I wanted to note. Nothing against being homosexual if that's what you're into, but there's different theories on that too. Some people say it's entity possession, all of that. I personally don't want to go into that in this video. I think there's more to it for sure. There's a lot of past life karma and everything to it. So this is a video we might watch real quick, because it really emphasizes the Galactic Federation puppetry. Let me just pull up the volume, see if I can play it for you. This is an interview. Okay. Should go right here.
They're like, okay, if the humans won't listen to us, or they do listen to us and they misinterpret us because we're so different, let's just go ahead and be the human. Maybe they'll listen to their own kind. So
these are like excerpts from a video, but it's all about, you know, do aliens walk amongst us and everything. So the entire narrative of us not really being human, or, you know, us being outside of human and everything, it all very much belongs into, let's try to take you out of your body. Let's try for you to astral project or whatever. Let's try to reinforce the starseed narrative onto you. so that you kind of don't have much, you're not much in touch with your own body, with your own humanness, with your own gender, with your own divine femininity, divine masculinity, all of those things. So it fits very much into the narrative that supposedly the GFL, or all the entities that say they are the GFL, want to reinforce on people like her.
That's when the Galactic Federation started to look for volunteers. Hey,
yeah, the entire volunteer program, I already dissected it so many times. Like, we did not volunteer to come here, you know, we did not volunteer to be on Earth, or in this realm that we call Earth, which obviously extends beyond what they're giving us. But yeah, the entire volunteer thing, and she's already saying beautiful beings of higher frequencies, and all of that is, it's nothing. You know, you're basically talking about wishy-washy nothing. You're giving us nothing much of substance. But volunteers is probably a very misleading word, because you were either tricked to do whatever by the GFL under false pretenses, or you were literally enslaved somehow by these entities who are saying, once again, they are the GFL. Because I don't even think the GFL really exists, to be honest with you. I think it's just another mask that these astral beings are putting on. The same with the Arcturians, Pleiadians, all of that, and archangels, angels.
Beautiful beings of higher frequencies. Do you want to go on an adventure of a lifetime? Come down to planet Earth. It's going to be really fun. And it was really
right. So that's the narrative. Oh, yes, we want to go to planet Earth. Absolutely. But it's not true, right? Like, we were tricked to come here, as I already said in previous videos too.
tough to find volunteers from the Galactic Federation, as you could imagine. Why would we leave all of this and go down there? When I reference star seeds, it means that your soul is not originally from the lower dimensions.
It's always so funny when they say lower dimensions, meaning somehow 3D versus 5D, or lower dimensions, like as if Earth was such a lower dimension. If Earth really was such a lower dimension, why are all these beings here? Why are all these supposed advanced spiritual leaders or Galactic Federation puppets, why are you here if it's such a lower dimension, right? It makes no sense. So the entire narrative makes no sense. And then you see the trigger word star seeds also, always very revealing, you know. I mean, it's the same with light worker, star seeds. It's all these words just to give people some meaning to their life, because life in and of itself can be very confusing to people who have that potential to wake up, and then they wake up to this false narrative that she and others are reinforcing.
It's not originally from planet Earth. It's actually from much higher dimensions.
From higher dimensions, from the 5D or 7D or 8D or 9D, but never higher than 12D, right?
And you came to incarnate and volunteer to be here as a human.
Volunteer to be here as a human, yes. So that exactly, that's the wrong narrative, and people like her are reinforcing it and confusing people even more. And then people wake up and they're like, I don't think I volunteered to come here. Why would they do that to me?
The problem that happens,
what percentage of people are volunteers then?
It's hard to say. I would say between 10 to 20%.
It's almost like it's a random number that she
like,
somehow
okay,
just came up with. And this is a comment, you know, there's a comment here. How would someone even know that they're a star seed? It's like random comments like that kind of make me laugh when I see it. And all these people, you know, like Cryon, Indigo, Celestial Healing, some have normal names too, Alchemy, Intuitive Healing, like all of these names already gives you a good idea of the people that follow these accounts. So we're going to try to go into the July message to humanity. That's the shortest video that I could find that was longer than like a minute long, but less than like the 20 minutes that she usually has. I tried going to her important message to star seeds, the 18 long video right here. It was so awful that even when I was speeding it up, I was basically almost falling asleep. So there's nothing really of substance. There's something with churn here as well, which she's pushing a lot of her merch onto her followers, her light worker pullovers and everything too. So we're going to try to go into this 6-minute long video. This is also a video where the audio quality is a little bit better. So she probably invested in a good microphone for this video specifically. She very clearly uses a ring light and everything, as you can see in this here. But, you know, regardless, let's play this video and hope we can get through. So
beautiful beings, and
Well,
welcome to the month of July 2022. From what I've channeled, this should be
right away, so many trigger words. Beautiful beings. She used to say beautiful beings of light as well, which was always such, it was such an intro to have. We all had our intros probably. I had a different intro to my channel too. But hers is always, hello, beautiful beings of light. And then the creepy smile that she sometimes gives. So that was back in 2016 or 2017. It was a nice intro. I wonder why she gave that up. Sometimes she still says it in her videos, but for new agers, it must be like, wow, amazing. I'm a beautiful being of light. I am so special. And then right away, she already starts with the channeling. So obviously she's channeling random entities who label themselves as Galactic Federation of Light or whatever. But anything that's channeled, you can already assume it's under control of the Illuminati or controllers or whoever, all of these factions that are in control. We don't even have to name them. I think you guys know at this point who they are if you're following this channel for longer than 2 seconds.
Hopefully a little bit of a break for everyone. This month is all about being human. It is really, truly focused.
It's so funny that, she always emphasizes being human, but how does that fit into her starseed narrative, and floating around in the higher dimensions? So it's all part of the bamboozling people's heads and minds and really yanking them back and forth. I feel, it's on one hand, be human, ground, eat this type of food and that type of kale and whatever. I'm not sure if she's vegan or not, but I know she definitely does kale chips and all of that, the entire agenda that reinforces the plants, and not so much the meat part of it. So yeah, be human, but still try to raise your vibration. That's what I really remember off her previous videos too.
Focused on getting yourself grounded and centered. There are a lot of huge upgrades actually heading our way for the.
It's always these upgrades. Like, at this point, this was in the beginning of July. And when this video is being aired, it's August. So it's a good month later. Where are all those upgrades? Are we still in those upgrades? Like, how do you define those upgrades? Is it always like the ascension symptoms, meaning the fatigue or the dry throat or whatever, or like the Lionsgate portal? So a whole bunch of new age words that have basically no meaning at all.
The rest of the year. So it's really important that we focus on just being in our body and aligning to the current energies and the environment around us.
Yeah, so far we're almost a minute in and I feel I've gotten nothing out of this video other than focus on your body, ground, upgrades, higher dimensions.
Whatever you can do this month, really focus on your human foundations and focus on being in your body more often. So with the fact
she keeps repeating herself too. I mean, I know we always have the tendency to repeat things we think are important, but in a lot, like her videos are basically like 10 minutes of repetition, I find.
Foundations, take a look, you do a little bit of an audit around your life. How do I feel about my job? Where am I at with that? How do I feel about my partner or my best friend or my family members? Where am I at with those relationships? How do I feel about?
So that's about feeling. So you're kind of progressing from being in your human body to the emotions. Interesting.
My I don't know, my house, my living situation, where am I at with that? It's a really good time to take note of what's working and what is not working in your life. Okay, it's all about being human. Now,
so I think she said human 10 times at this point, and we're 1.5 minutes in.
Because what I've channeled is it's truly about you're human.
So I mean, you just got to imagine these people have to channel to get the main sentence. It's all about being human. I mean, this is legit. And how many views does this video have? I think it has like 30,000-40,000 views. Let's go into the final overview. Yeah, it has like 31,000 views. So these videos are getting like thousands and thousands of views. It's not even that many because she has like 150,000 followers. So only like a smaller percentage of her followers are watching her videos, but she also puts some of it on her Instagram. So it gets enough attention for people to know that they have to be human and that she has to channel these entities to be human. Mind blowing. You just have to imagine this, right? How a person builds their business up off of that. I mean,
this might also be a very challenging month for you. And it might be challenging in the way that
if it's not positive, it's challenging, but it's never negative. Always remember that. With the new age, there's nothing negative. There's only challenges. It's like the positive talk that has nothing behind it. It is always good to talk in a more positive than negative manner, don't get me wrong, but with these people, it's always like that, right? And also, she posted a whole bunch of stuff on her Instagram like a few years ago up until now, how she was really, really being challenged in her own life and things were happening in her own life. It makes you wonder if the universe was throwing a whole bunch of stuff at her just to make her wake up and be like, whatever you're doing, it's not working for you. That's why, you had your stalker, or that's why you lost your home, or that's why you had all these things happen to you, just as an example.
Some human stuff might blow up on you, and I just want to
yeah, it was always like human stuff blowing up in her face. So she's probably just taking her personal situations, putting them in a video like this, and then her followers are applying whatever. I mean, that's how it usually goes with these energy upgrades. Like, I don't know, like I used to do them when I was in the new age too. I used to have, it's the same with astrology upgrades. Like you just put random stuff together and someone's always going to resonate with it. You're always going to have some sort of comments or shares of people who all of a sudden resonate with it, or people who find it like years down the line are like, oh yes, now I resonate with it. Because obviously all these upgrades are timeless too. It's like timeless readings and everything, right?
Let you know that that's totally normal and okay. It's because things need to shift around in our physical reality in order to align to higher frequencies. So just know that that's
higher frequencies. You heard it.
Totally normal.
I wonder where the 5D is.
And what else? On the opposite end of kind of the human spectrum, there's might be a lot of new openings and new beginnings that take place in your life for this month as well. So be aware of those opportunities, or be aware of the openings of the opportunities.
So she's basically saying the same thing for the past 2 minutes already, just phrased differently. She probably looked some words up in a dictionary or something to have like synonymous words, but I mean, it's the same what she's saying, right? There's nothing new.
So what I would recommend is say yes more often, especially to situations and dynamics that
always say yes, never say no. Never set boundaries and say no. Always yes, yes, yes. Otherwise, you're a bad person. You belong in the lower dimension, in the 3D. You don't belong in our 5D world.
Maybe make you feel uncomfortable. Maybe you're not totally used to. So say yes more often when a new opportunity or a new person presents itself. There's been some moments in my life where
this video is actually, I think, one of the few ones where when she actually smiles, it extends a little bit into her eyes, but usually when she smiles, there's no smile in her eyes at all. I've showed her videos back in the day to some people, and some of those people were not in the new age at all. This is like years ago. And I remember this one person telling me, but she's smiling, but not with her eyes. It's like a fake smile. And, now I realize that with a lot of her videos. But yeah, it takes a while to get away from that trance-like state you're in when you're following these people, right?
I'm kind of at this weird push and pull place of like, should I go? Should I do that? Should I just stay home and chill like I normally do? And always pushing yourself to get out there and do something new is always going to benefit you in one way or another. You may hate it.
It's almost like, is this life advice or something? I'm not sure. I feel like I'm talking to a teenager, like someone who's not very mature in expressing
you may
themselves.
Get some sort of weird allergic reaction, but despite all of that, you're going to have a new experience, and that's going to really add value to your life experience when you do your life review after this life is over.
Wow. Okay. So something that I forgot. No, I think I did mention it in the Dolores Cannon video. So the life review, you've heard it. You will be forced down that tunnel of light, and then you will be forced to do a life review. This is the reality they want to drag you in. Like these new agers, these entities that control these new agers, because very well, she's channeling all of this. She's completely controlled by them. I also saw like 2 years ago in some of her videos that there was legit like entities around her in her auric field or whatever you want to call it. You can use certain programs to kind of just very slow-mo it and everything. I'm not going to do it for the purpose of this video. It's just going to take forever. But I mean, this is really where they want to drag you and go through the tunnel of light or get pushed through that. Because I know she's also pushed like ghosts and everything through that. She's the one who would recommend if you see a ghost, push it towards the light. So that kind of drags them back into the reincarnation trap. And this is what they want. They want to drag you endlessly through these loopholes over and over again. So she basically just said it in this video.
So just kind of keeping that in mind. And then to get grounded. So
keep in mind, you're going to have a life review where you have to judge yourself, even though everything's love and light. Why would you do that? Like from a logical standpoint, why would you ever have to judge yourself if you're already perfect the way it is? It makes no sense, right?
Recently, we've had these crazy influx of like, you know, high vibrations, solar flashes, Schumann resonance.
Yeah, the solar flashes are always so funny to me, like solar flares, solar flashes. You know, a lot of that is AI technology, the same with the Schumann resonance. It's all controlled by them. So the way they're putting it, I do think people react to those, especially energetically sensitive people, the same way you can react to the cell phone tower technology that's being pulled off right now. And the same way you can react to EMF radiation. So the way they're doing it is they're controlling all of this. The Schumann resonance is a huge one that they're controlling. And so that people, animals, birds, and all of them, they really react to that. And some of them can go quite crazy, right? Especially animals. And that's just another thing, especially with the moon trap that they're also putting up. It's all AI technology to make people who are plugged into the matrix make them feel special. I also forgot to mention when she was saying the 10 to 20% of volunteers, like what a random number as well. But she's not once is she talking about soulless people. Like who are the rest of them? Are they background characters? Do they have a soul? You know, which makes you feel, do people like her or other new agers, do they really have a soul? She also has a very strong fallen angel energy to me. So some people call it Nephilim or whatever. I'm not sure if they were created by AI somehow during Atlantean times.
And then the crash of like, I'm exhausted this week. I can't literally do anything. So
you know, it's so funny. Once you're out of all these programs and spells that the New Age puts on you, like the Lionsgate portal, the Schumann resonance that you're supposed to react to, all of those things, once you're away from that, and once you're actually sitting in your own energy, you're not really affected by any of this anymore. The only reason you are is because entities siphon off your energy because you're listening to people like her. And they really try to hook into you and get all of that from you to kind of recycle you through their own traps over and over again. But once you're away from that and you really just sit in your own energy, you're really just in your own, you won't react to any of these. You will barely even react to like a full moon night or whatever, unlike other people who are, you know, plugged in, even the ones that aren't spiritual necessarily, but the plugged in people, you will really see a huge difference once you're away from all of that.
This is a really good month to rebalance your energy centers. This would
chakras. So I'm actually wondering, because it's like a month later, whether or not what she has to say on August, maybe we should have waited for the August report to compare it, but I couldn't wait that long for this review video to come out.
Be a great month to go and get a Reiki treatment or some sort of energy.
Reiki treatment. So Reiki puts reptilian energy on you, especially when they use the entire symbols, which a lot of them are portals to let entities through. But with Reiki, the reason a lot of people feel, especially who are newly initiated into Reiki, who don't really know what exactly is going on, oftentimes their lives fall apart from one day to another, like 1 month to another. And people start attacking them. All of a sudden, they lose their relationships, they lose their homes, they lose their jobs, all of that. And the reason is not because they're ascending to 5D, but the reason is because this reptilian energy hooks into people through the Reiki and feeds off of them and basically makes your life miserable. And I know other people who were talking about that too, by the way.
Healing treatment. Maybe it's a good month to go visit like a deprivation tank or some sort of like...
Yeah, all these tanks that come out of nowhere. I mean, you don't need any of this technology. All of it, you know, for her, what like she always says, she's a Zeta Gray, or she has like her a higher self as a like something outside of herself as a Zeta Gray, or like a parallel life as a Zeta Gray, which didn't we pause it at a great moment? Just look at her facial expression right there. It looks super angry. Anyhow, it's always like these people who are influenced by AI beings like AI technology. So they always like the most recent technology, because they're kind of plugged into the AI system. So it's not surprising she's mentioning all these weird tanks you got to be a part of. Like these are like, things that you can sit in a wellness center or whatever. But it's not surprising she would be drawn to that, because I feel she would probably be plugged into the AI system.
Salt cave.
And that's why she would recommend it too. And I'm not actually sure whether or not she took the injection, the jibbity jabbity Jew, because she was really promoting no fear against it and everything, despite everything that it does, to people's auric fields, to people's DNA, to all of that. But if she did take it, which that would explain why she would be able to go back to Canada back and forth before the restrictions lifted, she would probably be even more plugged into the AI system, let's put it that way. But she probably was from the beginning, because she's in touch with all these AI entities in the astral, right?
It's a really good month to do some health and wellness resetting as well, maybe some acupuncture.
You can only do this in July. You can't do this in February or in August or whatever. This is the July message to humanity.
It's just a really good time to be reflective and tune in. The other thing that I would recommend about being grounded, so as we're getting hit with higher vibrations and Schumann resonance and solar flares and all of that, we get very out of our body. Sometimes when life is really difficult and
so basically for the past 4 minutes, she's been talking about not feeling grounded, and now she uses the term out of your body. It's all the same thing, right? Like there's nothing of substance in this video. I feel it's good that we chose a shorter video, because I'm not sure I can listen to this for much longer.
And terrible to deal with. We naturally leave our body because it's just too much for us to deal with. And sometimes
we don't naturally leave our body. We leave our body when entities take over, or when you're promoting astral projection, astral traveling, or when you experience trauma. So it's not natural to leave your body. That's another agenda these people are enforcing for you to have it more natural.
When life is just super intense and you're ascending to a new vibration, we also tend to get
there. I was waiting for that. Ascending to a new vibration. I mean, it's just funny. It's like it's always the same, right? It doesn't matter who you review. It's always about ascending to a new vibration. What's wrong with the old vibration?
Out of our body because the upgrades are too much for us to be present for.
More like the energetic AI attacks, the psychic attacks that the upgrades bring, so that people leave their body, right? Like, tell us the real story. Don't tell us the new age story. Tell us the real story, why people feel so miserable, because they're hooked into your system and you're hooking them in. You're basically just like a puppet to these entities. That's what you are.
So when you're out of your body, you're typically very kind of clumsy, all over the place. You stumble over your words, or your spelling all of a sudden gets really, really horrible.
Yeah, and all of those things, she said in a previous video how she suffers from dyslexia. Even when she's saying words, she stumbles over them. It makes you wonder, right? Like, how much is she actually in her body the entire time? Evil laugh right there. Like, it looks like she's laughing, but
always my spelling, which is like my dyslexia just comes out in all of the words. I'm like, what am I even trying to say right now?
She's basically saying she's not in control of her soul and her body. Like, basically these entities randomly enter in and out. She thinks it's perfectly normal, and she promotes it for other people to have the same attacks that she's under.
And then you clumsy in the way that you drop things, but also like stubbing your toe or like running into shit. It happens all the time. So yeah, so just kind of being aware of that. And how you can ground yourself is utilizing your 5 senses. So really be
wow. So we have 1 more minute to go, but mind-blowing advice: use your 5 senses. Wow.
Present with your smell, with touch, with taste, with texture. All of those things are really going to put you into your body, but also physical exercise is a great way to get grounded and to get aligned to your physical.
I feel she's been just saying the same stuff over and over again for the past 5 or 6 years. It's always the same, like every video. That's probably why she deleted her old videos, because they're always the same, just kind of phrased differently with a different face somehow.
Even some light stretching or yoga, or you watch some
Yoga. So yoga, the yoga that you're learning right now, which is not the one that the traditional yoga is, by the way, because the traditional yoga never had to do with stretching or the movements like the vignette, like the moving super fast type of yoga that they promote in yoga studios right now. The yoga was basically just another form of stillness and meditation, maybe 5 movements in an hour or so. But the one that she's promoting has nothing to do with the original sense of the original spiritual sense of yoga. So it wouldn't necessarily have the same effect, obviously.
I don't know, calisthenics guy on YouTube and you want to follow along, all of those things are going to be really good. Or maybe you throw on some headphones and you just do some crazy ecstatic dance.
Throw on some Bluetooth headphones.
That's going to...
Ecstatic dance. So you have ecstatic dance here in New York, and I was actually friends with the organizers of it. All of them are under like substances, like drugs, psychedelics. Most of them are. Otherwise, you wouldn't really be able, because ecstatic basically means under the influence of something, not alcohol necessarily. They don't want alcohol during these ecstatic dance events, but they basically do have a whole bunch of people under, marijuana or other type of substances. Just want to put that out there too. So if you're promoting that, you probably, I mean, she also promotes ayahuasca though, so it's not a huge surprise that we're seeing this here. But yeah, ecstatic dance, another ritual by the New Age community. They had like an ecstatic dance when I was in Sedona a year ago. They had it on a platform. They were basically ruining nature with it, because you had like a few hundred people in nature with their speakers and everything. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is a sacred place right here.
Really help you get back into your body and get aligned for what's to come. Because like I mentioned, there are some really big activations on our...
Activations. I wanted to say there are some really big entities trying to take you over, but she said activations.
Way at this time, and it's important that we are aware of those and we're ready to kind of navigate. This is a month to get your ducks in a row.
Great. I wonder if that's an energy report for every month, because I'm sure people feel that every month who are following her.
To do a little bit of internal house cleaning and to maybe separate yourself from some of the aspects of your physical life that feel very overwhelming, very draining, or full of obligation. It's okay to just take a step back.
If you're feeling drained all the time and you're in the New Age, you have to ask yourself why you feel drained. Is it because of all the entities that you're letting in? Because you listen to people like this, like her, or what exactly is going on? Is it because you're channeling something?
You don't have to cut cords and walk away altogether, but taking a step back always gives us new perspective.
Wow.
Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, or just hop over to the Cosmic Society membership if you're not already watching.
Of course, yeah, it's all about the memberships.
This on there for tons of really great, epic, mind-blowing, brand new, never before seen content. All right, sending you guys lots and lots of love for this month. Bye for now.
Yeah, so I'm sure those are all the videos she kind of got off her channel, and if not, that's good. What someone else actually told me, and this is back in 2020 already, this is someone who had a session with me, and she was basically saying how, I gotta pull up her notes here, but she was basically saying how she fell for the entire EA agenda, so Expand, Awaken, Elizabeth April. Because I was saying how I had some readings with her, and some readings that I've had with her, especially like the last 1 or 2. So I had like 1 or 2 in 2017, and I had 1 or 2 in 2019. And in 2019, those were so awful and so misleading that I actually even asked for a refund for one of the readings. I never got it though, which is not surprising, obviously, with these type of people. But and I'm not doing this video because of that, by the way. Otherwise I would have done it back in 2020 already. But this video is just to show you what's really going on, the misleading that's going on with her and others. So this person was saying how she always had a weird feeling about Elizabeth April. She was part of one of her online courses, supposedly, because this is like 2 years ago, so she didn't have the memberships yet, it seems. And somehow Elizabeth April made like a huge exception for her and gave her a reading because the person was supposedly already in 5D and a reading would really help her. And the person said she was blinded by her popularity, and she thought it was very dangerous what Elizabeth April was doing. So this is coming from someone who actually, had a reading quite recently, I guess. And this is the thing, like she gave up her personal readings, I think end of 2019 or early 2020 or something like that, which makes you wonder why exactly she did that too. What was it? Because the backlash was so strong that, like in my case, it was literally like, all of this is wrong, all of this is false, and what you're predicting is like actually even dangerous. That's the feeling I had after my reading that I got from her. I was like, oh my gosh, like this was, if I didn't know better, I would legit probably do something very dangerous or so. But basically, so she gave up all her personal readings for whatever reason. And then she kind of lured people into this private thing, like online course or online community somehow that she had built up, probably similar to her memberships. And then from there, they were telling people, oh, you're already in 5D. You can really benefit off of a reading with EA. Of course, you just got to pay like twice the price that she charged like back in 2016 and everything. So that's kind of the feeling that the person had was really going on. So very interesting marketing technique to kind of lure people into your memberships and then ask them for more money to give them a reading. It's very interesting. I just find that very interesting personality too, and very misleading, obviously. So I think that's pretty much all we have to say on her. The video is quite long. There's so much else to say, obviously, but I think you get the gist of it. And this was the second video out of a row of other videos that are going to follow. So once again, comment below if you want anyone else covered. I am going to start with people that I had more of a personal interaction with, like in her case, I actually booked like sessions or readings from them. And that's why I can kind of speak on them, because I actually know their energy, at least in the Zoom call that we had together and everything. And I know how heavy it can feel because there's a whole bunch of entities in these people's fields, let's put it that way. But also a whole lot is already coming through in their YouTube videos, which they're obviously deleting all their YouTube videos because they're kind of deleting stuff from the past. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. Like this video, subscribe and comment, just like all of them always say. But if you're new, definitely, follow along. There's going to be a whole lot of content that might interest you. More reviews of New Agers and other channelers, and the list goes on. Talk to you very soon. Until then, have a wonderful one. Bye, guys.